No, Sean the Realtor Guy podcast, I guess. The CNN says the housing market is stuck until at least 2026, Bank of America guy warns. And I made some notes. I want to share what they said. And I'm going to share two possible solutions that you may consider in the current stock market. And we'll find out what they mean by that. In New York, CNN, help may not be on the way for first-time homebuyers frustrated by high mortgage rates and even higher home prices. Economists at Bank of America warned this week the U.S. housing market is stuck, and we are not convinced it will be unstuck until 2026 or later. So it kind of piqued my curiosity. It continues, the bank said that the home prices will stay high and go even higher. The housing shortage will persist, and mortgage rates may not fall much, even if the Federal Reserve finally delivers long-delayed interest rate cuts. And it says housing affordability is a major problem in America. Duh. Scrolling down, the supply of homes simply cannot keep up with the demand. Prices have had nowhere to go but up. The median price of the previous owned U.S. home climbed in May for the 11th month in a row to a record of $419,300, up 6% from a year earlier. Bank of America expects home prices will climb by 4.5% this year, then by another 5% in 2025, before eventually dipping by 0.5% in 2026. So from now until end of 25, 9.5% increase, and then 0.5% come down. So they're basically predicting in 3 years, the home prices will gain about 9%. That's what it means. So annually speaking, I mean, we have almost halfway done, or more than halfway done this year. Basically 3 years, like 3% every year appreciating. That's like typical home appreciation, very conservative point of view. So that doesn't say much, really. It says a locked-in effect. Locked-in effect could persist for 8 years, it says. 8 years. So we're looking at 2032. 2032, yeah, that's 8 years. For many, it says it just doesn't make sense to move. And because those homeowners are not moving, the supply of existing homes on the market is limited. Quote, why would I sell unless I have to? And prices have gone up and the mortgage rate is a lot higher, so I'm content to stay where I am. That's most of the people. This is the main reason why the lock-in effect is happening. The Bank of America warns the lock-in effect could persist for another 6 to 8 years, keeping a lid on the supply during that time. And it says, just to explain what the lock-in effect is, there's a Dave Leninger, who founded RE/MAX in 1973, said that the lock-in effect means people who want to size up to a bigger home can't. And the next generation can't even get their foot in the door for a starter property. So it's like, that's what they mean, stock market, right? And it says, one interesting thing says, in a recent Gallup poll, just 21% of Americans said that it is a good time to buy a house. Tied for the worst reading in Gallup history, an overwhelming majority of 76% says it's a bad time to buy. Now, this is something that you should be staying away from. This is another example of just majority people are not smart when it comes to housing, when it comes to economy, when it comes to stock market. I think it might have been the Rockefeller said that when there's blood, there's something, there's an opportunity. Or Warren Buffett said something like, you go, when others are fearful, you go more aggressive. I'm butchering this. When people are aggressive, when people are bullish, you should be fearful. So this is another sign of when majority of people think that it's a bad time to buy. This is time to buy. Because of less competition, I know it's less inventory, but less competition, less competition, less competition. So why wouldn't you buy right now? This is exact point that I've been making for the last like 4 months. 76% said it's a bad time to buy. Me as a Sean the realtor, I'm gonna tell you this is a time to buy because of this, because there's less competition. So I wanted to give you 2 solutions that I promised on the title of this video. One is capturing your opportunity cost. What I mean by that is using up the equity. If you have to sell, if you have to move out of state, if you have to sell, if you have to go to a bigger house, go to a small house, if you have some equity, only way to realize the equity is to sell the property. So this is time to do it because your life isn't going to wait for you. If you need a bigger house, if you need a smaller house, like I said, time doesn't wait for you. So pull the trigger, go ahead and sell and realize the equity of the gain of the equity of your property and move to where you need to go so you can live your life. For the buyer side, one solution that I'm going to offer you is just lower the expectation. I said this many, many times. Just buy the fixer house. You can fix up a new carpet, new paint in the next year. Or willing to drive 45 minutes. Or go from a single family home to townhome. If you can afford townhome, go to condominium. But don't go to the manufactured homes. And manufactured homes are in a park. The monthly fees are so high. It's right now I see about $1,000 a month in the mobile park or manufactured home park. Those I'm not a big fan of. So lower your expectation, condition, location, property type. Just get into an ownership sooner than later because that's going to give you a leverage that you can use down the road. When you gain some equity, when you pay down the principal, you could use that to do something else. If you don't, you never get the little leverage, tiny little leverage that you can use. That's what home ownership does. And there's a lot of narratives right now in the social media. Renting is way better. You can't afford to buy a house. You listen to those people all the time, you're going to be stuck there and thinking like the 76% of the Gallup poll participants. So those are the 2. Again, just use your equity by selling it if you have to. And then lower your expectation if you want to buy something now and get into a home ownership to start the leverage, making the little leverage that you can use. Because if you buy a condominium right now, when you sell it in, let's say, 7 years, you may actually make some money. You may. With that money, use that as a down payment to buy something else. So this is how many Americans have become rich, or this is one of the only investment asset many people actually own. And thank God we have this, at least, something reliable. So I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. If you hit the like button and subscribe, I really appreciate it. Thanks for your support. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video.